Coming up on Evening Edition, several instances of violence took place in Carbondale over the weekend. Plus, as some Carbondale businesses close their doors, others celebrate a major milestone. And the U.S. continues evacuating citizens from overseas. Live from Southern Illinois University, you're watching River Region Evening Edition. The Higher Learning Commission is on campus discussing SIUC's reaccreditation. Good evening, I'm Jacob Gordon.
And I'm Jordan Spearman. SIU hosted a forum on campus today for the SIU community to voice their input on the 5 criteria for accreditation, including its mission, its ethical integrity, and institutional effectiveness. Accreditation is required to receive any federal funding. SIU has been accredited since 1913.
Carbondale police say a domestic dispute on Valentine's Day led to one person's death. Police were called out to the 700 block of South Rawlings Street Friday afternoon. When police arrived, they found a fight between a man and a woman, which resulted in the man's death. Police say the man was shot and was pronounced dead at the scene. His identity has not been released at this time. The woman's identity has not been released, as well as the investigation does continue. Also in Carbondale, police are looking for at least one suspect in a shooting over the weekend. Police were called out to the 1000 block of East Park Street early Saturday morning to reports of shots fired. Police were told a fight outside a party led to the shooting, and one victim was taken to Memorial Hospital. The victim was not identified, but police say the person was released from the hospital after treatment. Police say the suspect is described as a black male with a light complexion in his early 20s, 5'8", weighs around 150 pounds, with shoulder-length dreadlocks, and has a cross tattoo under his right eye. If you know anything, you're asked to call police.
And Carbondale police are offering a $2,500 reward for information leading to the arrest of Orlando T.J. Sharon Jr. Police consider him a suspect in the fatal shooting of Keon Levante Cooper in November of 2019 in the 500 block of South Illinois Avenue. Police consider Sharon armed and dangerous and ask the public to call the Carbondale Police Department at 457-3200. And Poplar Bluff and Butler County Police are asking for help in identifying a man believed to be responsible for 2 shootings in Poplar Bluff last night. The 2 shootings happened within 30 minutes of each other, one at Bacon Park and the other at Wallace Street. There was one victim at the Bacon Park shooting who was airlifted to St. Louis with critical injuries. There were 3 injured at the second shooting, all of whom are being treated at Poplar Bluff Medical Center. Police are still investigating whether the shootings are connected or not.
Marshall County Police have finally identified a woman who went missing in a flood. 37-year-old Brandy Osborne was walking through a flooded area in the county to meet a friend when she was swept away. Osborne was seen wearing a pink hoodie, blue jeans, and rubber boots at the time. Police are still searching for her at this hour. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Marshall County Police Department. And as the Ohio River continues to rise into flood stage, it's impacting residents in both southern Illinois and western Kentucky. The Cave and Rock Ferry closed Saturday night and is expected to remain closed until the river crests sometime next week. We've seen a lot of rain this winter so far.
Yeah, I know, and that might be affecting some of that flooding too. But Maggie Latham is here now with the first look at weather. Maggie, is there going to be any more rain that could affect some flooding?
Well, Jacob and Jordan, we are unfortunately going to continue to see some of that rain for the rest of the evening. It's eventually going to die down until about 7 a.m. and we're going to see some clouds and a little bit of a temperature drop to about 39 degrees. Now, we do have that river flood warning, so that is something to watch out for. And we may see some more rain in the rest of the week, but I'll let you know about that in my 5-day forecast. Jacob?
All right, thank you, Maggie. And if you have driven down in Illinois Avenue in downtown Carbondale recently, you might have noticed the empty storefronts and some for sale signs. I
talked with city leaders and students at SIU about how they feel about the changes.
So we remember the Strip when it was vibrant, when it was jam-packed with people.
A once thriving avenue of businesses in Carbondale is now fighting to maintain its status. But Carbondale Mayor Mike Henry says it wasn't always the case.
We didn't have any vacant buildings, and it gradually, with the decline in enrollment at SIU, that's put some stress on the businesses in the downtown area.
In the past 5 years, enrollment at SIU has dropped from more than 17,000 students in the fall of 2015 to 11,695 this fall, the lowest enrollment in almost 30 years. The dwindling number of students can not only be felt across campus, but throughout the city as well.
Well, in the old days, we used to have 23,000 pairs of feet walking up and down the strip. We no longer have them walking up and down the strip.
School of Business Dean Terry Clark says the strip resembles a mall.
The way a mall works is you have two anchor stores. You have two big stores, Nordstrom's at one end and let's say Macy's at the other. And once you have these two big attractive stores, the idea is that they pull people back and forth so that the retail space between those two stores becomes valuable because of all the feet that are walking by them.
The two anchors for the Carbondale Strip would be the Amtrak station and the university.
But when you have a town that has a lot of, for rent signs or closing signs, it discourages people from wanting to join this university.
In the past year alone, several businesses have gone up for sale or announced their closure, including Fat Patty's, 710 Bookstore, Hangar 9, PK's Bar, Sticks, and most recently, Pinch Penny Pub. And while some businesses are closing, Carbondale Main Street continues to promote the downtown district. The executive director thinks it's not just a lack of business.
And while several businesses are for sale, they're not closing. If there's not an owner that steps in, it's not a closure. It's somebody looking to retire.
We have owners who have been in those businesses for 25, 30, 40 years sometimes, ready to transition out. The ones that I know personally, their children aren't really interested in taking over the business.
If your kid doesn't want it, it's not like there's a lot of backup plan.
And while some remain open while searching for buyers, businesses like Fat Patty's, 710 Bookstore, and Pinch Penny are closed. The decline of popular local businesses have left some students regretting their decision to come to SIU.
If I could redo it, I would not come to SIU.
And others miss the iconic establishments, which are nothing but memories now.
If you come down one week and you get Fat Patties and next time you come down they're closed, it's like it's a good burger and now it's not here anymore.
A lot of the businesses that were here when I got to Carbondale are steadily just been closing. It's actually taken much of a number on the Carbondale economy as well.
But Clark stays optimistic.
We didn't get into this place overnight and coming back from it. And we'll never be, it'll be a different Carbondale, but it's always a different world. Fast forward 10 years anywhere and things change. So, but I'm confident we're coming back.
To that end, city leaders hope a multi-million-dollar redevelopment project, including streetlights and sidewalks, a tax incentive program for businesses, and a planned multimodal transportation center replacing the Amtrak station, could launch the Strip into the next generation.
But we just have to weather the storm.
The new multimodal facility will house the region's public transportation providers Amtrak and Greyhound bus service, allowing for seamless connections between all modes of transportation. The project will also include the region's first bike sharing service. The city plans to spend most of 2020 on the design process, but they plan to break ground for the center in 2021.
Over the weekend, Castle Perilous celebrated its 30th year anniversary. The gaming and comic book store in downtown Carbondale hosted a special celebration yesterday to commemorate the event, which included rescue dogs up for adoption from the Humane Society of Southern Illinois. The general manager told us how rare it is for a comic book store to stay in business.
A lot of people open up game stores with great ideas of being able to spend the whole time gaming with their friends, but they don't have the acumen to keep the business on it. To understand it's also a business and on top of a hobby. So for 30 years in this industry, that's nearly a miracle.
Castle Perilous describes itself as the largest game store in Southern Illinois. And new efforts are being made to bring broadband internet to rural communities throughout Illinois. Last week, Governor J.B. Pritzker announced $50 million towards the statewide program called Connect Illinois. The USDA's Reconnect program is also awarding funds to Jefferson, Wayne, and Hamilton counties. USDA Rural Development State Director Douglas Wilson says that these investments will reinforce rural areas' economy and health care, as well as level the field between rural and urban homes and businesses.
And ahead on Evening Edition, the home decor business is filed for bankruptcy.
Plus, American citizens finally leave quarantine aboard the cruise ship Diamond Princess. But with freedom comes new problems. Find out more coming up next.